Before we dive into the blood-soaked madness of this 88 film slasher classic collection review, a quick heads up for listeners and viewers alike. These episodes come straight from the podcast Under the Stairs archives, recorded before the launch of the YouTube channel and long before video podcasts became part of the show. These reviews were originally crafted purely for audio. So if the production feels a little rougher around the edges or a little more stripped back than current episodes, that's because you're hearing the show in its earlier form, raw, passionate, and let's be honest, a little waffly at times. Whether you're revisiting these reviews or discovering them for the first time, please sit back and relax and enjoy this trip through the golden age of mass killers, inventive gore, and VH era nightmares. This podcast is not safe for work and will feature movie spoilers. It will feature scenes described of a graphic nature. It will contain language which most listeners may find offensive. Welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. Hi everyone and welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. This is your 88 film slasher classic collection. This is disc number 16, Scarecrows. I'm your host Duncan. Welcome to the show. That's right, disc number 16, we're finally pivoting away from the Children of the Corn franchise into something wholly unfamiliar to me. The last couple of these movies I've never seen before, and we are keeping that trend going right into this movie, Scarecrows from 1988. That review will be coming right up right after the first break. But before we get to that, as always, let me give you some information as to what is happening under the stairs. And boy oh boy has it been a busy fucking week for us. That's right, did you check out yesterday's episode? Did you? The 6-year anniversary of Podcast Under the Stairs dropped, and if you stuck around to the very end of the episode, something may have happened that got your heart all a quiver. That's all I'm going to say about that. You should go and check it out if you haven't yet. Trust me, it is worth it when you get to it. But we had a phenomenal week this week. We churned out a lot of shows, like a ton of stuff. Not only did we drop our 1995 as part of the Summer Teapot's Top 10 series looking at the 90s on Monday, but we then followed it up with listener reviews of Satan's Slaves on Thursday, and then on Friday we rounded out the month by looking back over August with our August roundup, our August report. And then yesterday, like I say, we dropped on all y'all out there a little 6-year anniversary for the show before jumping into this episode. And next week, the trend ain't stopping. The trend is continuing right through. Tomorrow we're dropping a 1996 heavy fucking hitting year for horror as part of the Summer Teapot's Top 10 series. And then a fucking plethora of other content will be tsunamiing its way to your small village and wiping you all out in one big gush of horror goodness as we drop to you the kickoff of a brand new movie club which will be dropping on Thursday, and then on Sunday we continue our look at our Arrow collection. So we're doing the Arrow assortment, and this one is a uncomfortable little watch if ever there was one, as we look at a little movie called The Baby. And yes, if you're thinking, wait 1 second, it's just a little baby, oh, your little baby, that'll be awesome. No, think man baby. And if you just got a cold shiver up your spine, that is the correct response to that fucking whole premise and idea. Oh, why did I do this to myself? I don't know, but I can't wait to do it anyway. So yeah, that is what you've got coming up over the next week, Under the Stairs. Right, let's bounce out here. Let's take a very short break just now. You'll hear promos for shows that I love. You'll hear the trailer for disc number 16 of the 88 film slasher classic collection. This is Scarecrows from 1988. We'll be right back to discuss that film right after this.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? why not try...
They must be destroyed on sight!
The new podcast cure-all, sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of...
They must be destroyed on sight!
As needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
At first, it seemed easy.
Hey, we're taking the money!
Take the money and drop from the sky. But they forgot that greed grips the mind like a vice, turning the simplest dreams to nightmares.
Coming to get you, Bert, you son of a bitch.
Now it's personal.
They landed in the field of the Scarecrow.
Just some kind of superstitious things that are used to ward off evil spirits.
Where's that?
Fired at this thing, and it just kept coming. Bullets don't stop it.
What are you talking about?
Man! Like human!
Somebody is trying to scare us out of here.
It's a deadly race in which the hunters and the hunted are destined to become victims. Beware of the Scarecrow. Kill it, or become it. Scarecrows, the stuff nightmares are made of.
And welcome back. So you just heard the trailer for disc number 16 of the 88 Films Slasher Classic Collection. This is Scarecrows from 1988. Let's jump across to the old 88 Films website and see what they're saying. It says, pass and die. The plan was simple. Boost a few millions, head to Mexico, divide the loot and live it up for the rest of their days. Unfortunately, for this band of ex-military criminals, they're about to learn a lesson the hard way. The best laid plans often go awry. A double cross ensues as the group find themselves in an eerie, abandoned farmhouse, one that holds a murderous secret in the surrounding cornfields. The malevolent scarecrows that inhabit the field are alive and are soon stalking and slashing their way through would-be bank robbers, featuring outlandish gore effects by FX maestro Norman Cabrera of the KNB Effects Group, stunning atmospheric cinematography for Peter Deming of Evil Dead 2, and spine-tingling score from Terry Palmieri of Black Eagles. Scarecrow is essential viewing for any self-respecting horror fan. 88 Films are proud to present the stalwart of VHS rental stores in all of its HD glory for the first time in the UK. The special features on the disc: Field of Screams, an interview with producer Cammy Winkoff, the original trailer, 88 Films trailer reel and a reversible sleeve. Is region locked to region B. The picture format is HD 1080p 185.1. The audio format is DTS HD ME 5.1 and 2.0. The language is English. Certification is 18, and the runtime is a succinct hour and 23 minutes. That's right, breezy for this one here. I had never seen Scarecrows before, and the thing about it was when I mentioned I was watching it and the kind of woeful attitude I had running into this one, mostly because, let's be honest, this collection thus far has sucked dick hard, so hard it's hit that fucking... It's went beyond the tonsils at the back of your throat and it's now somewhere deeply lodged in your gullet. It's not been a great series. I mean, I suppose if you're that way inclined to deliberately bad movies, then yes, there have been some treats in here. But there's been a handful of movies that I can genuinely say that I will ever go back and check out. That when a movie like Scarecrows, just the title, I was like, oh no, this has got bad news written all over it. Some people were like, no, Duncan, just chill out, sit back in your comfy chair, let yourself absorb it, become one with the movie. Like that, the lady doth protest too much here. Why are people telling me this movie is so rad? I will be the judge of that, because the last couple of times you guys have tried to persuade me, let's put it this way, you guys have been wrong. So yeah, I sat down, got myself in my comfy chair, switched the movie on, and within the first 10 minutes I was like, I am not going to like this movie. The acting was cheesy, it's kind of wooden, the action was more prevalent than the horror. Like, it felt like an action movie, like felt like a really bad knockoff Commando or Predator. We will see how this plays out. And then this movie found its stride about 15 minutes into it, and by God was I not entertained right to the end. Scarecrows is a fun fucking movie. Like, this movie knows exactly what it is and plays exactly to its strengths. The thing that kind of shocked me is, right, the acting's terrible. We have to get that out of the way. The story is ridiculous and stupid as well. But this money has went exactly where it needs to. It went right to the effects here. The effects in this movie are bitchin'. Like, really, 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 really good. The makeup design on the Scarecrows themselves, creepy and unnerving, especially the one that has that kind of Romero-esque kind of zombie vibe. In fact, I would go even further. It's not even Romero-esque. It's got like shades of Fulci in there. And you have that kind of permeating through. There's some proper real body trauma here, which I really got behind. I really enjoyed it. And the effects, for even the time period, and watching it back now, surprisingly hold up. I mean, that was the thing that kind of floored me, and I know KMB's involved with it. There was a bit of info that came out from one of our listeners. I want to say it was Andrew, had posted saying that this guy was super young, Norman Cabrera, and fair play to him. Hopefully he's still well and truly employed by KMB, because the effects were so good. And the movie knows what it has, and knows it doesn't have a lot of story here, so as a result it needs to kind of try and keep to a nice kind of pace, and it does. I mean, like an hour and 20 minutes, there's no real slow time here at all. You occasionally have to spend a bit too long with actors who are not very good, and dialogue which is bad, but out with that, I mean, the movie knows exactly what you want. You're paying to see people get picked off one by one, reprehensible, like military types. And I hadn't even put the kind of comparison together until someone had said, it's like a really bad sort of Predator rip-off, and it really is. Had this movie been Italian in nature, I would have been like, yeah, I can see that, but it's like a really bad Predator rip-off. But what it does right is it knows exactly, with a title like Scarecrows and a premise like Scarecrows, it needs to give you the outlandish, goofy, but at times gnarliness that it does, and I can't fault it on that at all. I found myself at the halfway mark in this movie going, this is a blast, man. Like, I can't wait to see how the next person gets picked off. And the multiple shots of these unassuming kind of Scarecrows, and it's clearly guys wearing costumes because you can see the fabric breathing, which I kind of loved. It kind of made me giggle a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm in this for the long haul. When you add to the fact that they were talking about Evil Dead 2 cinematographer Peter Deming behind the camera, it works here. The cinematography is well beyond what a movie like this deserves, and it actually gives it a weird kind of lift into territory that a movie like this probably shouldn't sit in. I think that works wonderfully for it, and as well, the score was really memorable. I enjoyed what I heard when the movie was playing. I think across the board, where a movie like this succeeds is knowing what its audience wants and not trying to deliver more than it can, or not trying to aspire to more than it should be. A movie like this is really the sum of its parts. It's the reason that when I watched that previous Children of the Corn movie, I was like, Urban Harvest works as this outlandish, over-the-top nonsense piece of cinema, and there was a place for that in the 80s. I enjoyed those movies. Those movies were the movies that I gravitated to as a kid when I was growing up. I wanted to be appalled by some gnarly, gruesome gore effect, but at the same time entertained by the nonsense that were happening on the screen. This is the epitome of everything that I would class as being good shit from the 80s. So yeah, that worked really well for me. and I got behind it. I thought really genuinely from the bottom of my heart, this is a movie that I would happily go back to. This is the kind of cheese fest that you want. You get a couple of really cheesy 80s movies, you shove them on, you sit back with some popcorn, some friends and some beer, and you just take in the nonsense. And there's a time and a place for that. Yes, you'll be sitting there thinking, Duncan, you usually condemn movies like this. And I'll give you that. But I think the movies I condemn tend to be movies that I expect, and not knowing precisely, but having a strong hunch that the filmmakers genuinely think they're making this stellar effort. This effort that's, is the epitome of all their horror knowledge and all their hard work and all the rest. And when you watch them, they feel contrived, they feel vacuous to an extent that I feel a movie like this, its first port of call should be, is it entertaining, yes or no? The biggest crime a movie like this could have is by not being entertaining, by essentially constructing the parts into this jigsaw of what a horror movie might be, but not necessarily delivering. Now, with that in mind, would I class this movie as a slasher? No. It's almost maddening how, the terminology here keeps messing me up. I don't know what I expect, but I could pretty much tell from the synopsis and from watching the movie that it's not a slasher movie, it's a cheesy 80s horror movie. And if we want to use that as some sort of massive blanket term to cover slasher movies in general, then yeah, I suppose we could do that, but let's call a spade while we're at it. So yeah, I think when it comes to Scarecrow, what the movie does is it entertains first and foremost really well. It delivers really good gore effects, really good practical effects, and really good creature design. And it does it effortlessly. It knows when to turn the camera, it knows when to put the camera on the spot. It's paced brilliantly. Out with the first 15 minutes where I was like that, I don't really know what kind of movie this is. It's setting up, and in the context of the end of the movie, it makes sense. Yes, it has terrible acting, and yes, the script isn't very good, but I would pivot that by saying that's not the primary concern of this movie. It's to introduce you to basically some slasher fodder, quote unquote, that we can watch throughout the movie, and it does that very, very well. It's shot beautifully. There's a depth behind the camera here that works probably too good for what the movie actually is. The score is fun, and at an hour and 20 minutes, this is the sort of movie that I want to sit down and watch from this collection. The Italian collection can afford to have movies at 2 hours long because the way they're composed, the way they're set out, or sometimes the contrived nature of their story and mystery is such that it needs an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours to get into. Had this movie been any more than an hour and 25 minutes, it would have wasted time. And it doesn't do that. It knows what to do, it gets in, gets out, and does it very, very well. I had a blast watching Scarecrow. More of these, please, in the collection, and I am a happy fucking camper. When it comes to grading this one, it is a 4. I really like this one. I can't wait to watch this one again, probably before the year's out, probably with friends, beers, popcorn, and maybe even a hot dog or two. And I'll tell you right now, next time I'm in a cornfield, which isn't often, I'll stay away from that fucking Scarecrow. Right, I'm going to take a very short break just now. When I come back, we're closing out the show, and we're doing it right after this. And you've been listening to the podcast Under the Stairs. We've just reviewed disc number 16 of the 88 Films Slasher Classic Collection. We're looking at a little movie from 1988. It was, of course, Scarecrows, and a movie that I genuinely had a ball with. Really, really enjoyed that, and going from movies that I genuinely had a ball with to another movie that I actually quite like as well. So this is one that I am familiar with. We recently, I say recently, in the last year and a half, did a Russian Roulette franchise retro on the Sleepaway Camp franchise, and we're going back, right back to Sleepaway Camp with and I always feel weird doing these movies that appear as part of collections where they couldn't get the rights to the first movie, so they just do all the other ones in between. Kind of feels unbecoming because we have to acknowledge the fact that the first movie isn't in the collection. But we're doing it this number 17 in 3 weeks time. It's Sleepaway Camp 2, aka Unhappy Campers. The 88 Films website says the following: Back in the heyday of horror franchises, one little slasher classic changed the gore game entirely. The 1988 body count bonanza, Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers. Long before Wes Craven's masterful Scream from 1996 turned the slice and dice trend on its head with its sense of pastiche and postmodern references, Sleepaway Camp 2 was nodding its noggin towards everything from A Nightmare on Elm Street to Texas Chainsaw Massacre with its genre in-jokes galore. In this suitably satirical sequel to 1983's gender-bending original flick, the great Pamela Springsteen, can't get that word out, sister of Bruce, headlines the puritanical Angela Johnson, returning to monstrous form as a summer camp counsellor who can't wait to drill down and destroy the entire backwoods full of frisky teenagers and stuffy colleagues. With some winning 80s mullets, a likeable final girl in the beautiful Renée Estevez from Intruder, and guts to ground gruesome special effects, Sleepaway Camp 2 is one of the finest fear follow-ups of all time. Finally released in all of its HD horror, 88 Films is proud to present one of the defining VHS hits of its era. Special features on the disc is Teenage Wasteland, slasher expert Justin Kerswell on Sleepaway Camp Films, the original trailer, Sleepaway Camp 3 trailer, 88 Films trailer reel, a reversible sleeve featuring the UK VHS artwork, and a booklet interview with director Michael Simpson. The technical specs are Region B locked, so locked to the UK, picture format HD, 1080p 185.1. The audio format is LPCM mono. The language is obviously English. Certification 18, and the runtime is, oh yeah, do it to me dirty, 1 hour and 28 minutes. So yeah, there's no ambiguity here. This is most certainly, ladies and gents, a fucking slasher movie, and it will be coming up in 3 weeks' time. It's also worth saying that the disc after this, so disc number 18, which will be coming in 6 weeks' time, is Sleepaway Camp 3, which is less good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this one. There's a multitude of ways to check out podcasts Under the Stairs. As always, I say come across and check us out on Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the feed and leave us a rating and a review. It's the best way to support us on that platform. You can also check us out at Stitcher Smart Radio, SoundCloud, Google Play, TuneIn and Spotify. Come across to our website, it's teapotscast.com, and if you want to buy merch like posters and pins to support what we're doing, it's teapotscast.bigcartel.com. All that money comes back and supports what we do Under the Stairs, and FYI, we have a brand new design coming real fucking soon. Something a little special for your October, that is all I'm saying about that. You can come across and check us out on Facebook in 2 different places. If you want to come across and interact with other listeners, chat about horror and get involved with all manner of conversations Teapots related, that's facebook.com/groups/Teapotscast. Takes you straight to the group page. If you're only interested as and when the shows drop, occasionally check out a live stream or a Thursday, then that's even easier. That's the Facebook page, facebook.com/Teapotscast. You can interact with myself and the Baz on the twin prongs of social media sexiness, Instagram and Twitter. Both can be followed at Teapotscast. And why not come across and become part of a very special social media trend that has not long taken off? Come across and download that Flick Chat app. The Flick app is for podcasters and listeners alike. It puts you in direct touch with us through our page. It's done message board style, and the conversations that we have on these shows continue right over on that app. Not only can you interact with us directly over there on Flick by creating yourself a little profile, the app is available on iOS and Android. You can hit that join with code and then type in the podcast Under the Stairs, all lowercase, and that'll bring us straight to our group page. Or you can get our link in the show notes for this episode. And yeah, you can listen to the podcast in the app as well. So while you're listening to it, post in our message threads, nice and easy, and yeah, the conversations are always continuing over there on Flick, so do that for me please. There's about 80 odd members now, so it's kinda a big deal, that's all I'm saying. Almost a sixth of our Facebook listeners have ported over, which makes me fucking happy. So there we go. The podcast Under the Stairs will return to you tomorrow when we, look at 1996 as part of the Summer Teapots Top 10 90s edition. But until then, wherever you are, what the time zone is and what you're up to in this big bad world of ours, please take care of yourselves out there. This is Duncan McLeish broadcasting live from Under the Stairs, and I am signing off.